I'm sorry.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
At 85, Ali McGraw looks back on the tumultuous relationship she had with Hollywood legend Steve McQueen, revealing the emotional complexities of their high-profile marriage. Best known for her iconic role in Love Story, McGraw became a worldwide sensation. But behind the scenes of her fairy tale marriage to McQueen, there was a reality far from glamorous, filled with struggles and heartache. In this video, we take a deep dive into the personal toll their marriage took on McGraw and hear her reflections on resilience and life decades later. But to truly understand the weight of these revelations, we first need to take a closer look at the painful and troubled youth of her ex-husband, Steve McQueen. Tumultuous early life and career of Steve McQueen. Born on March 24, 1930 in Beech Grove, Indiana, Terrence Stephen McQueen's early years were marked by instability. His father, a stunt pilot, abandoned the family shortly after his birth, and his mother, struggling with alcoholism, was unable to care for him. He was 3 years old when McQueen was shipped off to his grandparents' farm in Slater, Missouri, where he discovered some sort of stability. Despite their nurturing care, McQueen faced significant challenges, including dyslexia and partial deafness from a childhood ear infection, which made his school years difficult. As McQueen's mother remarried and moved him back to Indianapolis at 8, he encountered further hardships. His new stepfather was an abusive man, so at 9, McQueen left home and lived on the streets. It was about this time he joined a gang, and although he was sent back to his grandparents' house for a while, his rebellion did not stop. By the age of 12, McQueen's mother attempted to reunite with him in Los Angeles, but the cycle of abuse continued, leading him to clash with his new stepfather. The turbulence of his teenage years saw McQueen leave his great-uncle Claude's farm again, this time to briefly join a circus before returning to Los Angeles. His penchant for petty crime and defiance of authority continued until he was caught stealing hubcaps, resulting in severe punishment from his stepfather. This punishment sparked McQueen's growing defiance and marked the beginning of a life that would be defined by rebellion. At the age of 17, McQueen joined the United States Marines looking for discipline and direction. His time in the Marines was a mix of discipline and trouble, but he also demonstrated bravery, rescuing several Marines from drowning during a training exercise. His heroism earned him a commendation and an honorable discharge in 1950. After his military service, Steve McQueen drifted through various jobs before pursuing a serious acting career, using the GI Bill to attend the neighborhood playhouse in NY. Around this time, he also became an avid motorcycle racer, which would later become a large aspect of his public image. McQueen's first credited role came in 1956 with a minor part in Somebody Up There Likes Me. But it was his breakout performance in the 1958 science fiction film The Blob that catapulted him into the public eye. The film's commercial success established McQueen as a rising star in Hollywood. His career further ascended with his role as bounty hunter Josh Randall in the CBS television series Wanted, Dead or Alive, 1958 to 1961, where his portrayal of the cool, detached character solidified his image as a leading man. McQueen transitioned from TV to the silver screen in the early 1960s. His role in The Magnificent Seven, 1960, alongside an ensemble cast, helped cement his status as a box office draw, followed by his iconic portrayal of Virgil Hiltz in The Great Escape, 1963. The motorcycle stunt from the movie has since become one of McQueen's iconic scenes and has contributed to his image as an action hero. The late 1960s marked some of McQueen's most fruitful years. His Academy Award-nominated performance in The Sand Pebbles, 1966, brought him critical praise and secured his position as a top star. McQueen remained a box office giant with such films as Bullitt, 1968, with the revolutionary car chase scene, and The Thomas Crown Affair, 1968, as a businessman who commits a heist. These movies showed his ability to play such intricate parts and still be the cool guy. In the 1970s, McQueen maintained his status as a top box office draw with films like The Getaway, 1972, and Papillon, 1973. His reputation as a rugged action star was bolstered by his involvement in many of his own stunts, especially high-speed chases. McQueen reached the height of his popularity with The Towering Inferno, 1974, a disaster movie he co-starred in with Paul Newman, and for which he continued to be one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. His love of racing was also apparent in his personal life, where he raced motorcycles under the alias Harvey Mushman to avoid violating studio contracts. He loved racing, and this love was also evident in his work, a 1971 documentary called On Any Sunday, which he produced and paid for out of his own pocket as a tribute to motorcycle culture. Steve McQueen took a break from acting in the late 70s but came back with An Enemy of the People, 1978, playing an environmentalist doctor. Unfortunately, his health began to deteriorate during this period as he was diagnosed with an excruciating illness. Keep watching to find out. McQueen's marriage to Neile Adams. In his personal life, McQueen's marriage to actress Neile Adams, 1956 to 1972, was a complex and tumultuous story shaped by love, ambition, and the pressures of Hollywood. Their tumultuous relationship, with passionate ups and agonizing downs, reflected the constant struggle to maintain a personal life under the burden of stardom. Neile Adams, a Filipino girl raised in a convent, was a successful Broadway dancer when she met McQueen in 1956 outside a health food store in New York City. McQueen's rough exterior immediately attracted her, and before she knew it, she was in love. On their first date, McQueen introduced her to his love for motorcycles, famously telling her to get on and hold on tight, a metaphor that would come to define their whirlwind relationship. The couple married later that year, with Adams supporting McQueen's early career as he struggled to establish himself in Hollywood. She played a crucial role in pushing him towards success, introducing him to her agent at William Morris, and helping him select scripts that would elevate his career. McQueen's success in movies such as The Great Escape, 1963, and Bullitt, 1968, changed the way their relationship worked. Although McQueen adored their two children, Terry Leslie McQueen and Chad McQueen, with all his heart, his growing fame only led to intensified jealousy and insecurity, usually as a result of his hidden abandonment issues from his youth. These emotional struggles led to volatility in their marriage. The pressures of fame, compounded by McQueen's infidelities, took a toll on their relationship. His first affair occurred during the filming of Never Love a Stranger in 1957 with actress Lita Milan, a pattern that continued throughout their marriage. Adams struggled with his infidelities and drug use, discovering early in their marriage that McQueen had been buying peyote in the desert and later becoming addicted to cocaine. McQueen's drug use and infidelity reportedly escalated over time, and Adams expressed feeling increasingly isolated and deceived. The emotional strain came to a head when Adams had an affair with Oscar-winning actor Maximilian Schell. McQueen's violent reaction to this, reportedly holding a gun to her head while demanding details of the affair, highlighted the deep emotional conflict in their marriage. The prolonged conflicts and emotional strain contributed to Adams filing for divorce in 1971. McQueen's behavior reportedly became more unpredictable, possibly influenced by infidelity and substance abuse, and he received the divorce papers while on set, underscoring the disconnect between his professional life and personal struggles. Neile Adams divorced Steve McQueen in 1972, but maintained that some kind of bond they shared would never die. They got remarried again after their divorce for a while and remained best friends until McQueen's death. In later years, Adams reflected on their relationship with a sense of everlasting love, acknowledging that despite the immense challenges they faced, they always gravitated toward each other. Adams published her autobiography, My Husband, My Friend, in which she detailed the complexities of her marriage with McQueen, from the joys of the dating period to the tragedies that followed. She described him as someone who could be both adorable and a pain in the ass, capturing the duality of his character. Adams depicted McQueen, through her eyes, as a very talented, tormented soul, plagued with inner demons derived from his unstable upbringing. It was a love that surpassed fame, drugs, and cheating, according to her, and their relationship was living proof. McQueen's relationship with Ali McGraw. One of McQueen's most famous and volatile romances was with actress Ali McGraw, one of the great epics of Hollywood love stories. McGraw, who had gained fame for her role in Love Story, 1970, met McQueen while filming The Getaway. The chemistry between them was immediate and undeniable. McGraw described her attraction to McQueen as chemical, noting that his irresistible allure captivated everyone around him. She was electrified by his presence, finding him the most desirable man on the planet, with his striking blue eyes and charismatic presence. At the time, McGraw was married to producer Robert Evans, but her growing feelings for McQueen led to the end of her first marriage. Their affair began almost immediately after arriving on location in Texas for the film, highlighting the intensity of their connection. By 1973, after McGraw finalized her divorce from Evans, she and McQueen married. Their relationship was not solely based on physical attraction, but also on emotional intimacy. Both McQueen and McGraw were navigating the complexities of fame and personal struggles, which created a unique bond between them. They enjoyed moments of simple happiness, like living in a secluded Malibu home where they spent time together on the beach, enjoying barbecues in each other's company. McGraw talked about when they used to lie around on the beach half naked and just feel comfortable with each other. They both lived very adventurous and creative lives, as seen by their lifestyle, McQueen and McGraw. While both were deeply involved in the film industry, they sought a grounded life away from the glitz of Hollywood, often surrounding themselves with real people rather than other celebrities, which allowed them to maintain some normalcy amidst their fame. They also shared a love for art, culture, and nature, and this also brought them closer together. But then again, it was also complicated by McQueen's explosive nature. His mood swings, ranging from affection to anger, were often fueled by insecurities stemming from his troubled childhood. This created an environment where McGraw felt compelled to suppress her feelings to avoid conflict, later acknowledging that her insecurity led her to trim and cover her emotions, making her feel inauthentic in the relationship. One of the most significant aspects of Ali McGraw's relationship with Steve McQueen was the personal sacrifices she made for him. At the height of her career, she agreed to stop acting upon McQueen's request when they married in 1973. McQueen insisted on a prenuptial agreement that stipulated she would not seek financial support if they divorced, reflecting his desire for control within their relationship. McGraw complied with McQueen's wishes out of love and commitment. She dedicated herself to raising their child together, while also taking care of McQueen's 2 children from his previous marriage. She described this period as playing the role of a cook, cleaning lady, simple woman to the hilt, illustrating how deeply she immersed herself in domestic life, often at the expense of her career aspirations. Despite these sacrifices, their marriage was fraught with difficulties. Both struggled with substance abuse issues during their time together. McQueen was an alcoholic and drug addict, and that didn't help their relationship at all. Meanwhile, McGraw grappled with her own alcoholism, creating a toxic environment that further strained their relationship. In later interviews, McGraw reflected on how these issues affected their bond, stating that she often felt unable to express her true feelings for fear of abandonment. They grew apart as time went on. The strain of the spotlight and their own personal problems wore on their marriage. Rumors of infidelity plagued McQueen, leading to mistrust between them. McGraw eventually began seeking comfort outside their marriage. The final blow came when McGraw expressed a desire to return to acting, a move McQueen could not accept. He reportedly told her that if she pursued her career again, they would divorce. This ultimatum underscored the power dynamics in their relationship and how far they had drifted apart. 5 years later, in 1978, McQueen and McGraw divorced. It was a bitter divorce for all the good times they had. In later interviews, McGraw expressed regret, wishing they could have grown old together sober, and how they both worked their problems into the relationship and ripped it apart. McQueen and McGraw reminisced about their relationship with a blend of idealism and practicality. McGraw stated that there were wonderful days, but also horrible days of fighting. She didn't want to be the victim. She realized that many of her insecurities contributed to the way they related to one another. She described feeling inauthentic at times, as she suppressed her emotions out of fear of abandonment. McGraw's marriage to Robin Hoen. Even McGraw's first marriage to Robin Hoen was a troubled one. McGraw and Hoen started dating in 1956 when they both attended the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. They met in college, and their love developed from their youthful love and idealistic dreams for the future. After 4 years of dating, they married on October 24, 1960. McGraw was just getting started in her career at that time. Her first credited acting role was in Goodbye Columbus in 1969, which led to her breakout role in Love Story, 1970. However, despite their idealistic hopes of young love, their marriage quickly revealed significant differences in their goals and priorities. Hoen focused on his banking career, and McGraw, whose rising fame began to pull her into Hollywood's orbit, found it increasingly difficult to reconcile their aspirations. McGraw later mused that Hoen's devotion to his conventional career path didn't allow much space for their relationship to grow. Her career began to blossom, and the stresses of early marriage and the entertainment world started to tear the marriage apart. They divorced in 1962 after 2 years of marriage because they wanted different things out of life. Although McGraw treasured the memories of the time they spent together, she realized that they were at different points in their lives as well as their careers, and Hollywood just didn't make a normal marriage possible. McGraw's marriage to Robert Evans. McGraw's subsequent marriage to Robert Evans, a prominent Hollywood producer and head of Paramount Pictures, began with a professional connection during the casting of Love Story. Evans, recognizing McGraw's talent, cast her in the lead role of Love Story, 1970, a decision that not only cemented her status as a star, but also revitalized Paramount Pictures. Their professional relationship quickly blossomed into romance, culminating in their marriage on October 24, 1969. For the first few years of their marriage, they lived this Hollywood lifestyle and got to bask in all the glory that fame has to offer. However, the pressure of the movie business, and more specifically, Evans' infatuation with the big studio films like The Godfather, 1972, began to wear on their marriage. Evans grew more and more absorbed in his work, and McGraw felt more and more neglected. After their son Josh Evans was born in 1971, the isolation became almost unbearable. They got along great and wanted a lot of the same things out of life, but the stress of trying to balance a family and 2 very time-consuming careers just took a toll on their marriage. A significant turning point came during the filming of The Getaway, 1972, where McGraw was cast alongside Steve McQueen. The shooting location in Texas gave McQueen and McGraw a chance to get to know each other romantically, and they soon became lovers. As production progressed, their emotional and physical bond deepened, and McGraw began to feel increasingly disillusioned with her marriage to Evans. The affair marked a pivotal shift in her priorities, as she later reflected on how she felt more alive with McQueen than she had in her marriage to Evans. By early 1972, the affair became public knowledge, leading to a confrontation between Evans, McQueen, and McGraw. Evans discovered the affair while visiting the set of The Getaway, which shattered him emotionally. His downward spiral of self-destruction through drugs and alcohol was brought on by betrayal and heartbreak. Evans would later attribute the failure of his marriage to his obsession with his work. In interviews after their divorce, he lamented over losing McGraw, stating that his commitment to his marriage with Paramount had left him blind to his actual marriage. Even McGraw looked back on their experiences together with a mixture of joy at their successes, especially the blockbuster love story and dreadful days of fighting. While they shared moments of happiness, the relentless pressures of fame and ambition proved insurmountable. In retrospect, both McGraw and Evans spoke candidly about their failed marriage. And McGraw knew that even though they had their great times, both of their careers kept them from ever having a chance. Evans, with regret, admitted that his failure to prioritize his marriage was a key factor in its dissolution. These reflections reveal the complexities of relationships shaped by ambition, fame, and the demands of Hollywood. McGraw's early life and career. Now, turning our attention to McGraw herself, born Elizabeth Alice McGraw on April 1, 1939 in Pound Ridge, New York, she grew up in a household marked by both artistic influence and personal turbulence. Her parents were Frances Klein and Richard McGraw, both commercial artists. Her mother, of Hungarian Jewish descent, was a pioneering figure in her field, having taught art in Paris before settling in Greenwich Village, New York. Her father, on the other hand, had a difficult childhood, spent time in an orphanage, and ran away to sea at the age of 16. These formative experiences left him with a volatile temperament, and McGraw later described him as violent. This emotional instability in the family dynamic deeply affected her, contributing to her struggles with self-esteem and personal identity during her youth. McGraw had one brother, Dick McGraw, who also pursued an art career. The artistic environment fostered by her parents played a crucial role in nurturing her own creative interests. Despite the challenges at home, McGraw's early exposure to art and aesthetics set the stage for her later career. She went to high school at Rosemary Hall in Greenwich, Connecticut, which is like this super strict boarding school, and then went to Wellesley College in Massachusetts, where she majored in art history. While at Wellesley, McGraw developed an interest in fashion and photography, which in turn led to a modeling career right after college. McGraw graduated in 1960 and became a photographic assistant at Harper's Bazaar, where she was taken under the wing of the illustrious fashion editor Diana Vreeland, which helped her develop a keen eye for style and beauty, of course, to be used to her advantage later on in acting. She also modeled for various prestigious magazines, including Vogue, and appeared in television commercials, gaining early exposure to the entertainment industry. McGraw made her film debut in 1968 with A Lovely Way to Die, but it was her role in Goodbye Columbus, 1969, that garnered significant attention. This performance earned her the Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Newcomer and marked the beginning of her rise in Hollywood. The success of this film paved the way for her breakout role the following year. In 1970, McGraw starred opposite Ryan O'Neal in the romantic drama Love Story, which became one of the highest-grossing films of the time. Her portrayal of Jennifer Cavallari struck a chord with audiences and critics alike, earning her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress and a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. The film's success not only catapulted McGraw to international fame, but also cemented her status as one of the leading actresses of the era. Love Story became more than just a film. It transformed McGraw into a cultural icon. Its famous tagline, "Love means never having to say you're sorry," became synonymous with romantic ideals in the early 1970s. Following the film's success, McGraw graced the cover of Time magazine in 1971, further solidifying her status in Hollywood. After Love Story, McGraw starred in several films, including the 1972 action thriller The Getaway with Steve McQueen, a commercial success. She ended up marrying McQueen and retiring from acting to live her life until 1978's Convoy. This movie was successful but not as good as her earlier glory. She then did Players, 1979, and Just Tell Me What You Want, 1980. but nothing ever came close to Love's story. In 1983, McGraw received critical praise for her role in the miniseries The Winds of War. The next year, she joined Dynasty as Lady Ashley Mitchell, but the role received mixed reviews. McGraw also battled substance abuse, entering the Betty Ford Clinic in 1986 for alcohol addiction. She later discussed this in her memoir Moving Pictures, 1990, reflecting on its impact. After recovery, McGraw appeared in sporadic film and TV roles in the late 1980s and 1990s, including Survive the Savage Sea, 1992, and Gunsmoke, The Long Ride, 1993, with her final significant role in Glam, 1997. She also pursued interior design and yoga, releasing the popular video Ali McGraw Yoga Mind and Body, helping promote yoga in the U.S. Steve McQueen health struggles. Turning back to Steve McQueen, his health struggles began long before his diagnosis of mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer. His exposure to asbestos during his time in the U.S. Marine Corps in the late 1940s, when he worked on ships scraping asbestos insulation, contributed to the development of his cancer. McQueen's later life as a stunt driver and actor also led to his increased contact with asbestos, mainly through the fire-retardant jumpsuits he wore while doing motorcycle and auto racing. The latency period for mesothelioma ranges from 10 to 50 years, so it's not exactly easy to trace McQueen's cancer back to a specific exposure. In 1978, McQueen became sick with a persistent cough and difficulty breathing. By December 1979, after multiple medical evaluations, he was diagnosed with pleural mesothelioma, a very rare and very aggressive cancer. The prognosis at the time was grim, with most patients surviving only about 18 months following diagnosis. McQueen underwent numerous treatments, including radiation and chemo, but his cancer was inoperable. In a desperate bid for a cure, he turned to alternative therapies under the guidance of Dr. William Kelly, a controversial figure who advocated unproven treatments like dietary changes and lateral therapy, which were not FDA approved and deemed ineffective by many in the medical community. McQueen's pursuit of alternative medicine reflected his desperation, as traditional options were exhausted and offered little hope. However, these treatments failed to improve his condition, prompting him to seek further medical intervention. In late 1980, McQueen traveled to Juarez, Mexico for surgery at the clinic of Dr. Cesar Santos Vargas. The procedure aimed to remove cancerous tumors from his neck and abdomen. On November 6th, he underwent surgery to remove a 5-pound tumor from his abdomen. McQueen appeared to be doing well after surgery, however. That night, he went into respiratory distress. On November 7, 1980, Steve McQueen died from heart failure at approximately 2:50 a.m. in the Juarez clinic. He died with friends around him, but his third wife, Barbara Minty, and his children had just walked out of the clinic. Dr. Santos Vargas noted that while McQueen's condition had temporarily improved following surgery, the pain from the widespread cancer remained severe. The tumor removal was extensive, but it was not nearly enough to undo the damage that the disease had done. It had progressed too far. McQueen's last moments were marked by both physical pain and a desire to survive. He had expressed hope that, following surgery, he could overcome his illness. Unfortunately, the advanced nature of his disease made survival unlikely even before the surgery. His battle with cancer, coupled with his exposure to asbestos throughout his life, became a focal point in both media discussions and medical literature. McQueen's story serves as a somber reminder of the lasting health risks posed by asbestos exposure, a material that continues to cause disease long after its widespread use was curtailed. In recognition of his struggles, the Asbestos Disease Awareness Organization honored McQueen's legacy by advocating for more stringent asbestos regulations. In 2012, McQueen was posthumously awarded the Warren Zevon Keep Me in Your Heart Memorial Tribute Award. McQueen's third wife. As for McQueen's personal life, his third wife, Barbara Minty, was a significant part of his final years. The couple met in 1977 when Minty was working as a model. At that time, McQueen was still dealing with the aftermath of his divorce from Ali McGraw in 1978. Minty and McQueen were introduced through mutual friends, and their relationship quickly deepened. Minty, who described McQueen as the most beautiful man she had ever seen, provided him with the companionship and emotional stability he had been searching for, particularly after his turbulent previous relationships. Despite McQueen's personal struggles, including his battle with alcoholism and the emotional scars from his prior marriage, Minty gave him a sense of grounding. They shared common interests, notably their love for motorcycles and racing, which further strengthened their connection. Minty's relationship with McQueen was a source of solace and stability during the challenging final chapter of his life. McQueen and Minty married on January 31, 1980, in a small, intimate ceremony at their home in Mexico. Their marriage was marked by a deep sense of affection and respect, offering McQueen a level of emotional stability that had eluded him in his previous relationships. Minty often spoke about how McQueen treated her with kindness and understanding, fostering a sense of security and grounding during a tumultuous time in his life. Despite their happiness together, McQueen's declining health due to mesothelioma cast a shadow over their marriage. As his primary caregiver, Minty dedicated herself to his well-being, supporting him through the intense treatments and the physical toll that the cancer exacted on him. She later described this period as heartbreaking, but also emphasized the strength of their love, which endured even as McQueen's health deteriorated. McQueen's struggle with addiction was another challenge during their marriage. While he had been working toward sobriety, the stress of his cancer diagnosis and treatment sometimes led to relapses. Minty, while deeply supportive, faced the emotional burden of caring for him through these difficult moments, which undoubtedly added to the strain of their situation. Despite these challenges, their bond remained strong, and Minty's unwavering support became a central part of McQueen's final years. Following McQueen's death, Minty has reflected on their relationship in interviews and documentaries, often sharing her memories of him not only as a Hollywood icon, but also as a devoted and loving husband. She spoke about how their time together, though brief, was filled with moments of love and connection. Minty has consistently emphasized the comfort that their relationship provided, both to her and to McQueen in his final days. In her recollection, she highlights the profound impact their bond had on both their lives, offering solace amid the uncertainty and pain of McQueen's illness. What are your thoughts on Steve McQueen's life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.